Gail here. Oh, well, the past 2 weeks have not turned out the way we thought they were going to with all this hot weather. We didn't go and see my daughter, didn't see my grandson, stayed home. My daughter said that her house was too hot and she didn't want us wandering around in our underwear. And it's got very small windows that don't open very far. My husband was feeling a bit off anyway because the hot weather always makes him feel a bit off. Gets migraines and things. So we didn't go. And we're waiting for a bit of cool weather. And in the meantime, we had a flood. It thundered and lightened and rained. The rain was so heavy I couldn't see across the road. It was like fog. And I could just make out the house across the road. Oh no, we thought, it's that kind of rain. And the road flooded. And then the sewage started coming up. And joining the flooded road, we have a pumping station on our road that pumps sewage uphill. And we're kind of at the bottom of the hill. So in it came. There's three of us, three houses, who are all on the same level, and we all get it. We get flooded water coming down the road and coming into our gardens and coming up to the doorstep, but not quite in the house, full of sewage. This is the third time it's happened in 22 years, so I'm not really complaining about it, apart from that the last time was 3 years ago. So I've got lots of photographs of my flooded garden, which did not reach the height of my shed. My shed is up a bit, and I think it's lower nearer the house as well. The patio was completely, everything was completely underwater, all the plants, although they don't seem to care. They carry on growing. Anyway, we got onto United, our local water board, and I got onto them quite a lot actually. And then they started phoning me up, saying that, it was all in hand, that people would come out to see me. And people did. They came and assessed the situation, although my husband had the next day off work to hose all the debris, shall we call it. And as the day got hotter, it dried up all the debris. So I had to have all my windows closed because I couldn't stand the smell. It was bad enough when it was floating around in the water. Anyway, they came and assessed, and they came out then the next day and disinfected all our flagging. They don't disinfect the grass or the flowers. So I read up what to do. Should I put bleach on it? Because they said that the disinfectant doesn't affect the grass. It's just that they don't do it. Anyway, they power washed it and brushed it and disinfected it. Somebody came and shoveled up all the stuff that was left behind. We've got all sorts of toilet roll mush in the back garden. Anyway, the best thing to do apparently is to let any debris dry out in the sun, and water and rain will then take the germs into the soil. And apparently soil is full of bacteria, and they quite enjoy that kind of debris being washed into the soil. And I really don't suppose it knows the difference, does it, between sewage and horse manure? Whatever's in there, those things, I'm sure they're in both of them. Anyway, so the children, when they came, they didn't play out. And then by the time the next came, we were fairly certain. It said it would take 3 to 5 days with the sunshine. And it's just been boiling, hasn't it? We've had 3 thunderstorms in the past, I don't know, week. I mean, all that rain, it rained for an hour. The thunder and lightning continued for another half hour after the rain had stopped. I mean, I don't like lightning. I'm a bit frightened of lightning because he's trying to get me. But I really didn't care because we were worrying about all this flooding coming into the house. I mean, we have a cool box at the front that they put the milk in and stuff, and the postman puts parcels in. That floated off. All the milk bottles, they all floated off. Anyway, that's sorted now. They phoned me up today. They did, some of the assessors that came out were trying to find out why sewage was coming up, and they decided there must be a blockage, and they've been out yesterday, the day before, looking with cameras down everywhere, and they found a blockage and they've cleared it. So hopefully that won't happen again. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Because, you know, I was beginning to think we'd never be able to sell the house. Not that we want to sell it, too many things to move to sell it. Anyway, and then we discover that my grandson, who we didn't go and visit, was a bit poorly. He wasn't eating his food, and then he developed a rash, and she sent photos to the doctor, and it was chickenpox. So we could have brought chickenpox home. We could have been ill ourselves. We needed to be here to deal with the flooding anyway. So I have been in the past couple of weeks, I have been hand sewing in the house, because in my shed it was 35 degrees. Today's a bit cooler, and it's now 24 degrees, which, you know, I can stand. I've got my fan on, my windows and my door are open and everything, and I've nearly finished doing the blocks for this Coronation, no, is it, yeah, Coronation quilt that I was doing. And I sewed one set of blocks. There's 9 blocks in each, a big block, and I sewed them together, and then I thought, well, what's gone wrong with this? I sewed one of those strips in upside down, so I've had to unpick it, and I thought I shall show everybody my unpicker. I've told you about it before. I got it for my 50th birthday. I treated myself. So there's 2 unpickers, and when you finish with them, you put them in that way. When you want an unpicker, you put them in that way. So when it's not being used, it's like that. It came in a little velvet case as well. I don't know what that is. That's the posh unpicker, isn't it? Better than those plastic things. I think it was about £13. I got it off Etsy anyway. Thought I'd show you that. So the blocks, you make 9 blocks, and you sew them all together into this. It's blowing in the wind a bit. I've just pinned it onto that quilt. So these are the crowns. You see, there's 4 crowns. I put that in the middle just because I wanted to. That wasn't in the pattern. It was quite hard for me to get my head around the pattern, because I didn't use a pattern. I just watched a video a few times. It was Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I think it's called King's Crown or something like that. I thought it was very appropriate, and she was doing, all the crowns were in different patterned fabrics, florals and things, and then she had white and grey, and I obviously I didn't want, so it took me a while. Anyway, I found a pad and I drew it, and once I understood which were half square triangles and which were full squares, I was all right. So these are the blocks. I've cut them all down to 8.5, because these blocks are only just a little bit bigger than 8.5, and these are made out of half square triangles, you see. So you get 8 yellow 5-inch squares and 8 purple 5-inch squares. Well, I have, and you know, you draw your line down the middle and sew either side, and you end up with enough half square triangles, half yellow, half purple, to make 4 of those. So they go here. They go there. And at the top, and at the side, they go that way. So that's simple enough. You do 4 of those. And I like to have varied fabric patterns, so I've bought an awful lot of purples and yellows. And then the next block is just 4 square block, 1 yellow and 3 of your other colour. So they go here in the corners. I hope you can see and I'm not in the way. And that's your crown. And in the middle, it just wanted you to do a 4 square patch in the middle, but I thought, nope, I'm going to add You know, is it a snowball or something? It was 2.5 inch square anyway that I sewed across the middle. It goes in the middle. So I've done lots of them. Today I've been sat here cutting them down to 8.5. So these end up being, out of all the blocks I've made, these are the smallest, and some of them are only just 8.5. So every block in that I've cut down to 8.5. And these four ones, you're cutting about 1 centimetre off each side. So I've done all those, and I keep them pinned together so I know how many I've done. And I'm thinking of doing quarter square triangles up here as well. No, not decided. Anyway, I don't know whether or not to do them a bright yellow or more of these 2.5 squares of that, because I'm only using this fabric in the centre. But I'm thinking when you have several centres, I should really have it here as well, shouldn't I, where they meet up. But do I want one around the border that won't meet up with anything? Anyway, I've been busy doing that, and these are these are what's left of my cut out purples and yellows. And I didn't even use that one because it's got a tinge of green. It wasn't quite regal enough. So these blocks, although I've cut them down to 8.5, they add up to, is it 24 inches when you've sewn them all together. So that means I'll have a 72 inch. I've only done 9 of these big 24 blocks, so it'll be 72 inches square. And then all my fabric I've still got, I'm going to fabricate some borders or something. So that's what I've been doing sewing wise. I've not done any crocheting, and my shoulder is an awful lot better. Oh, this is how I cut them down to 8.5, just in case you were wondering. So this is my 8.5 tape. It's washi tape, and because I'm doing it at 8.5, I find the 4 here. This is where the 4 is, and I do it 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 is the centre of the block, and the 4 1/4 lines line up with 2 of the seams. Sometimes the diagonal line lines up with the corners and the diagonal, but not always. I just fudge it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing this afternoon. It's all my cut off bits. Apart from that, I've been receiving parcels. Some nice material. So I got off D-Stash. It's a pretty pattern, isn't it? She said it was cotton, but I think it's cotton poplin. It's a bit thinner than quilting cotton. Well, you know, we'll see what we can do with that. It's very nice anyway. Better have a drink of water. Have to keep hydrated, don't I? It's not very cold anymore. Now, I bought this to make my, I was talking to my ring light then. I bought this I thought I would make a dress for my granddaughter. But when it came, I thought, you know, they would make a lovely little pair of shorts, wouldn't they, for my little grandson? Maybe a dress as well. But they make lovely little shorts, and he's wearing shorts now. I talked to him on the phone, you know, on the video call yesterday. I'm sure he said, "Hello, Granny." Anyway, I bought this to make my granddaughter a dress. Just a little summer dress, and it's got silver sparkle on it. I don't know if you can see, but we were off my D-Stash group. I bought some fabric to make dresses with. I don't need any fabric to make dresses with. I don't make dresses. I just have ambitions. Anyway, I bought this. It's viscose. It's lovely, isn't it? I didn't like it at first, and then somebody posted a picture of a dress she'd made with it, and I said to the man that runs the group, "You want any more of that?" And he did. So I bought it, and I bought this because I thought it would be lovely to make a nice cool top. Can you see the texture? I might make that, you know, like for my 65th birthday or something. Now, oh, I've got some more up here that I forgot to tell you about. I got this from a de-stash group. It smells nice. Just because I like it, and I think it might look nice as a border in one or two of my pink floral quilts. And I bought this. I was really taken with it. Only I'm thinking now, why did I buy that? I mean, I can always sell them again, can't I? See who this is by. Wyndham Fabrics, Civil War 7 by Nancy Gail. Pattern number such a thing from 1840 to 1885. I like stripes. I always think that they'll make a nice border. Whether or not they do is something else entirely, isn't it? 16 minutes. Right, so what shall I show you first? I ordered this. It's a jelly roll from Fabric Treasures UK with Sheila, who runs it. If you want to look on Facebook, she doesn't post abroad, so that's why it's UK. She only sells Moda, and we are her treasurettes because it's Fabric Treasures, so we get discounts. So I ordered this from the catalogue when it came out. It's Moda Wild Blossoms, and it's by Robin Pickens, and I like to buy all of her things. You can see the range of colours there. Anyway, I also ordered two. It came with a feature fabric that is, I don't know if it's in the jelly roll, I shouldn't think so, which was gorgeous. I ordered 2 yards of that when I pre-ordered it, so I'll show you that in a minute. But when it came, it was so gorgeous. I said, have you got any layer cakes? And she did have. So I've got a layer cake and a jelly roll. This is going to be a big quilt. Now I'll see if I can show you. I mean, some of them I'm not too keen on. And she had all the fabrics as well, and I'm thinking, oh, stop it. You know, I don't need all this, do I? So I'll go through the fabrics. I've ordered some of that. I've not paid yet. That's not why it's not here. So we have these angular ones. What's that? Lovely green leaves. Yellow flowers. Let me see. Pretty flowers. Pink. What's the word for it? It's not angular, is it? It's something else. I've ordered some of that as well. I've ordered a yard of that one. Now, once we get into the colours, they're gorgeous. I can't think of the word for those things. I'm sure you understand, don't you? I mean, look at that. It's lovely. The blues and the greens. I don't like orange, but I think it's important in this range. I'll show you the spectacular fabric in a minute when I've finished showing you these. I mean, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. Look at that. Ooh. I do like I like purples and clarets and things. You notice how they give you several of the ones I don't like and then only one of the florals. Shall I complain? Oh, I think that one. Was that a nice one? I was looking at it, she's got all these rolls of fabrics, and I couldn't decide. And in the end I decided I didn't need any more. You know, I don't need to make a quilt that's bigger than the bedroom, do I? Look. I could have bought that. Just lovely. Look at that one. I think that might be the showcase fabric, actually. I'll show it you now. Are you ready? Okay, it's folded up, so the orange and the yellow there. You see that? Green goes to red. The red, orange to red to purple to blue. So if I hold it that way, is that better? Isn't that just absolutely stunning? It's gorgeous, isn't it? All of those colours, just gorgeous. So I've got a 2 metre piece of that, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I am looking at lots of patterns and thinking, oh, that would look nice with that fabric and all that kind of thing. I don't know if it will do, but you know, I mean, really, I thought that this here was a bit over the top, really, purple and gold. It's very dramatic, isn't it? But there's a lot of different fabrics in it. I've got some calf facet, not very much. That one there's a calf facet. Jason Yenta, is it? I've got some of him. I've got some batiks in there. This one is an Anna Marie Horner. She's got a big yellow flower on her somewhere. Yeah, I've ordered them from... I've got some off my D-Stash group. These two here, this kind of deep purple and this one, they're both from D-Stash. I've just been buying up purple and gold fabric. I've got tons left. I might be able to do the backing as well with the fabric. So each 9 that I've made together, so I'm thinking I'll keep them together because they might not, you know, mix well if I mix them up. Anyway, I've cut out every day I've sewn the 9 blocks that form the big block. And then at the end of the day, I've cut out and arranged all the pieces ready to sew it together the next day. And I'm doing block 9 tomorrow. Today, I'll do it tonight. It's the last one, block 9. And then I'm going to sew them in lengths of 3 to quilt them. I'm going to have to buy some purple quilting cotton, I think. Or yellow, or both. So I'm going to do them in lengths of 3, so they'll be 24 inches by 72 inches. I think I can handle that on my knee, and then I'll sew all the 3 together. I've not finished my red and pale one yet. I've just got 1/4. Everything's quilted apart from 1/4 isn't even sewn together, so I'll have to get on with that. But I was taken. I was, you know, I thought, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a coronation quilt. I thought about it for ages, and then when I looked at crown patterns, I think it's called King's Crown, I thought, how appropriate is that? I've done the purple for regality, you know, they are regal, and the yellows for the crown. So I'll be glad when that's finished, because I'm a bit fed up with it, actually, you know. A bit fed up with a lot of things. I'm fed up with not seeing my daughter, although I see her on you know, the screen quite often. And I'm fed up with the fans blowing and the noise of the fans. I bought 2 new fans because I was just sick to death of the old things. I mean, you know, I've been married 41 years and some of the fans are 40 years old. Really rattly and horrible. And I just got so irritated with being too hot, blown and noise, because then the telly goes louder so you can hear it over the phone, over the fan. And then when you go to bed at night, you've got the fan blowing. So it's not really a peaceful sleep, is it, when you've got... They don't sound like a fly or anything. And funny, isn't it, that moths don't buzz? Flies buzz. No, butterflies don't buzz either. They just flutter in and scare you to death. I don't like moths. Now, I was telling you before I was scared of lightning. That's right, yes. When I was 5 and I went to school, one day in the winter, because it was dark, my mum came and picked me up. She was a bit late, so I'd been stood around with the teachers. and it was thundering and lightning outside. It was chucking it down, and my mum had been in a predicament. She didn't want to take out her 2 younger children because she had 3 children 3 years apart. Me and my sister were 11 months between us, and my youngest sister was 3 years younger, so she had a 2 and a 4-year-old at home and a 5-year-old at school. And she didn't want to take them out in the thunder and the lightning and the rain and bring them back all sodden and wet and everything. So she made them sit on the table in the front window and stay right there. When we came home, they were still sat there, so that was, you know, acceptable. Helicopters flying overhead. I live quite near a heliport, and we are insured for helicopters and planes landing on us. Not happened yet. Noisy, though. Not as noisy as living near an airport. Anyway, yeah, so she came and picked me up, and we were walking across the playground in the dark and the chucking down rain, and this lightning came down and landed on the school roof, and it bounced off the school roof and bounced onto the playground, and it bounced up and down like a big zigzag right in front of us. Was about 3 foot away. Well, I wasn't particularly scared. I was only 5. My mum was livid because all the teachers were laughing. Anyway, that was my first encounter. I don't know what kind of lightning it was. I think somebody once said it was ball lightning that bounces like that. I don't know, but it's only about 3 foot away. And then, probably 10 years ago, I worked between 2 schools then. I used to spend mornings at one school and afternoons at another school, and it got even more complicated because I would alternate days, so one school one morning and the other school in the afternoon, and the afternoon school I did the next morning. It was all to fit in with the children. Anyway, I was walking down the road to go to the bus stop in the dark, so it must have been winter again, and it was thundering and lightning and storming, and I'm walking along thinking, it's not very sensible really, is it, to hold an umbrella over your head when it's thundering and lightning, and it's made of metal and you're protected by a layer of fabric. And just as I was thinking that, this lightning bolt came right down and landed in the road very near. It was very near, probably 5 foot away from me, with a big crack and all the electricity. It was enormous. This bolt was so thick. Well, I just turned around and ran back home. I couldn't breathe when I got back home. My daughter was home, so she let me in. I just collapsed on the settee going, and for about a week I had nightmares that Mr. Lightning had it in for me, and he was banging at the front door of this lightning man, and because he wanted to get me. So I don't really like lightning now, because I'm thinking, it might be third time lucky. What if, you know, the lightning really does want to get me? What if this time it does get me? So I don't really like lightning. I don't go out in it ever, unless I'm in the car, because I know I'm safe in the car. It's a Faraday cage, you know. Anyway, yeah, that's why I don't like storms. And I was going to tell you something else and I've forgotten again now. I'm rubbish, aren't I? And even if you can remember, you can't tell me, can you? Well, you can put it in the comments. You can put all sorts in the comments, you know. Just tell me if you want me to talk about something in particular, or you'd like more information on something. I am going to show you my feed sack quilts. I'm going to hang them on the washing line when it's not too hot, because I'm not doing all that in the hot. I'll stay inside with my fans blowing. I'm not, you know, the kind of person that lies in the sun and frazzles. No, I don't do that kind of thing. No one wants to see me lying in the sun. Mind you, you know, the garden is so treey with our giant tree that's bigger than the house. There's no sun really comes in the garden. Plants that like no sun, they grow in our garden. Pretty unplanned flowers and things. Most of the things I buy die, so, you know, I just let it do its own thing. It's a wildlife garden. My grandson comes out with his jar. He has a little jar, plastic jar that I've tied some string round, and he carries it round and with his trowels and his forks, and he looks under pieces and all the rubbish, which is a wildlife garden. He pokes around in and he finds beetles and worms and wood lice. In fact, you know, he spent, up until about 3 months ago, he called all woodlice guinea pigs. And we've spent years telling him it's not a guinea pig, it's a woodlice or a woodlouse. And now he knows, and he calls them woodlouse or woodlice. And we were saying at the weekend that we really miss it. Him shouting, "I've got a guinea pig! There, I found a guinea pig, Granny!" We're thinking of renaming woodlice in our family back to guinea pigs, because it was just lovely. It was very, very him, very endearing. And we miss that now. Anyway, you know, I'm sure he won't appreciate us doing that. I was going to tell you, I bought something. I've got a big pile somewhere of, I don't know where I've put them. I've got big piles of everything. Look at this big pile of fabric here. Let me see if I can, I'll unclip my phone. Whew. Now, over here, I have a big pile of 37 layer cakes. I've got 38 now, and I bundled together lots of fabrics, and this fabric here is all to do with my can you see where I'm pointing? Yeah. The quilt I'm making at the moment. That's what's left over from my red and pale quilt. I've just got tons and tons of things. I've got all sorts everywhere. Anyway, my friend is always saying to me, "Why don't you show us around your shed?" I said, because it's too messy. I'm trying to make it tidy, but you know, it's not easy. You know, if you're using something, it's messy, isn't it? Anyway, I've got a lot of these 5-inch things, and I don't know where I've put them. But this one, I've just bought a 10-inch layer cake of it. Versailles. Villefleur. So, I like the purples, you see, there's kind of purpley bits in it. You know, I don't think it is Villefleur that I've bought. I think I've got a 5-inch, I've got this one. And I think the 10-inch that I've bought is Le Jardin de Versailles. It looked the same to me anyway. It'll probably go. Most things go, don't they? I wonder where I put all my... Oh, I put them in a box on the cupboard. All my rolls that I had stacked up. So I knocked over when I was pinning up this. So I'm going to sew my other blocks back together for an hour or so, and then I'll go in and see what there is to eat. So I hope this leaves you well, and I'll come back and chat away in another couple of weeks. Leave a like or a comment, hey? Let me know you're there. Bye.